What's up, guys? So, a review of a phone like this, for me at least, it's going to be divided into two ways. It's going into two directions. First of all, I want to review it as a phone because ultimately it's a phone. It's not a DAP. It's not a music device only. First and foremost, it is a phone. So, I want to review it from the perspective of a phone user. And yet, on the other hand, there is the part that this is from Moondrop. This has 4.4 millimeter balanced output, 3.5. It's probably one of the few phones that still have headphone jacks. And if not the only phone that has 4.4 that I know of, at least. So with that in mind, I will be talking about it, but the direction will be different. So I was thinking, and I've decided I will be doing this video in two parts, not only because of that, because I'm tired and the video could be long, and I want to give you a comprehensive review, a picture that you could ultimately decide if you want to get this as a phone or if you want to get this as a music player or whatever. So if you want to know about the sound quality and the sound perspective of this phone, just one day more. I will release the video tomorrow. This is the weekend, so I had to take my time, and I want to explore all the features it has. Before I start, I just want to thank everyone who left comments and questions, and I want to say today I will focus on the phone aspect of it. We'll dive deep into the features, into the software, into the apps installed, the Google stuff, the specs, the chipset, everything you want to know about it. And tomorrow I will be talking about the sound aspect, the sound quality, the power output, and then I will be comparing it to DAPs. I'll be comparing it to 3 or 4 DAPs. I will be comparing it to dongles. I will let you know if this is better than using a dongle with your phone or a Bluetooth dongle. I'll be comparing it to desktop DAC amps and portable heavy-duty DAC amps. And I will be comparing it against other features, for example, the questions you guys all asked. Tomorrow I have them, and I will answer. I promise you, I will answer every single question you guys asked in the unboxing video and in this video. So with that said, let's start. Obviously, this is a budget phone. This is the first thing I want to say. I want you to get into your head. This is a $399 USD phone. So we should keep our expectations a bit realistic. I know I have higher expectations because it's just Moondrop and I'm excited about it. And I'm sure many of us are. We have these high expectations of it from a music standpoint and from a phone, right? Because Moondrop has been impressive in everything they try, every venture they have, they do great. From the Bluetooth to the dongles to the IMs to the TWS, that gives us really high expectations. And I just don't want any of us to be disappointed, so I'm not just gonna tone it down a bit. I'm just gonna tell you, be realistic. It's a $399 phone. Keep that in mind. Now, this is a budget phone, right? So budget phones are kind of nice. They are fun, but there will be trade-offs. There will be some corners cut. To get you that price for a phone with recent Android and cameras and features and so on, there is the cost has to be sacrificed somewhere. The question here is the trade-off something you're willing to accept and to give up in order to get something else you like in the phone? Obviously, I don't think here anyone will be buying this phone for a camera or for something else. Probably you're interested in this phone, you're interested in the sound quality, you want a 3.5 and 4.4 millimeter phone that gives you that ability, and it's portable and it's modern enough and it has that feature. So are the trade-offs worth it? With other phones, some people like the build quality, they're interested in the screen, they're interested in the cameras. This is the big points, the software, the gaming phones, the battery life. This phone will not win you over with specs, all right? I'll be honest with that. I think its best feature is the sound. Any other thing will going to be secondary, at least from my point of view. You guys get to decide that after we explore these things. Now, Out of the box here, I was surprised that Moondrop doesn't provide a lot of accessories, unlike what they do with some other products. You get just a basic USB-C, you get your SIM eject pin, and you get a very small manual. No case that's in this product. There is no charger included, which is, of course, customary now. We all expect that. There's no earphone, like maybe like some small IM or something. No, there's not. Surprising since it's a 3.5 phone, but I understand why they did that considering the price point. Now, let's start with the build quality of this phone. On the front here, you see the bezels are very thin, and you had these curved edges to it, and the bezels are not sharp. They're just like a bit smoothed out, rounded corners, right? And on the back, you get this textured plastic. Like, it's not glass like you see with other phones. It's plastic, and it's very textured, so it shouldn't like fall off. Like the grip is very good. Like, one benefit of that is that if you drop the phone, like if there's glass, it could break, it could shatter more easily. You don't get that here, so that's nice. Still, the camera could shatter. No one is saying that, especially since it's the raised edge part. The back is not fully flat or symmetrical. If this part is flat, but when you rest it on a flat surface, as you can see, the phone doesn't wobble or anything because this part is the raised edge part. It is very smooth out on the sides, which aids with the grip. It's very, very lightweight, like something to keep in mind. I'm going to measure it for you guys so you can see it here. It's a little bit over 200 grams. So that's actually pretty light. Dimensions of the phone without the screen it's exactly 16 centimeters from top to bottom and around 7.5 wide. Like I have no complaints about the plastic textured back. I think Moondrop calls it like a very new name for me. I can't pronounce it even, like poly and something like that back. I think it's okay, but what I'm worried about is the need for a case for a phone like this. Like, the trade-off is acceptable. You get this plastic, it's harder to scratch, and it's very lightweight, right? Especially considering the size of this phone, right? It's considered, in my opinion, a big phone, an ultra-size phone. Now, there is no case, and since this is like a new phone, you're not gonna find a case on Amazon or your local store. So I hope Moondrop includes a case in the future. So something else you could do to protect this phone is like you can find like a custom cover, like something like a skin, like the D brands and something like that, which could at least give a level of protection, in my opinion. So that's it. Another thing is, I want to mention this. I'm not sure. I've never seen any info about the phone being waterproof or not. I don't think it is, especially since you get this two big openings here, the audio output jacks, which makes it very challenging, of course. So that is something to keep in mind. If you get this phone, you need to protect it with a case or a skin, and make sure you don't drop it in water or use it in water, around water, because that's what we usually do nowadays, because most phones are in a way waterproof, at least for a limited time period. Now, on the display here, you can see that Moondrop included a pre-applied, factory-applied screen protector, which is awesome, in my opinion, as the phone has these curved edges, which makes it quite challenging to put another one. My advice to anyone who gets this phone is try not to remove it. If you see bubbles like this, try to squish them, but try not to remove it, because I know people like glass screen protectors, me included, on my Samsung phones, but this one is nothing is like the factory applied one, and it's very sensitive. I will show you even the fingerprint. It works awesome. Now, when we get to the SIM tray here, which I want to show you guys, this phone has dual SIMs. So you can use either dual, two SIM cards, and they support dual standby, which is a nice feature, or you can use one SIM card on one side, and on the other side you can get a memory card, TF memory card, and Moondrop says you can use up to 2 terabytes, which is one other feature of this phone that you don't find even on flagship phones today, is the expandable storage. So even if you got this phone and you want to use it as a DAP, and you want to, like, you know, in the future, like, just put your music on it and you don't care to use it as a phone, that's a very, very attractive feature. At least I'm talking about myself. This is one of the things that make me feel, yeah, it has its uses. All right. Let's talk about the screen for a moment here. The screen is relatively large, in my opinion. As I said, this is the size of an ultra phone. The screen is an AMOLED display, and I will show you later. It's very, very colorful. Corner to corner, it's 6.67 inches. It has a resolution of 2460 by 1080p, which is full HD plus, and it has a refresh rate of 120 Hz, which you can adjust in the settings to be dynamic or to be 60 Hz or to be high. Now, this display alone, which I'm going to show you right now, a few pictures, is actually better than any DAP you can get, no matter how much you pay for it. Like, this is one of the benefits of it. It has a under the screen fingerprint sensor, and it's quite responsive. Like, actually, it's pretty awesome. I have to say, like, sometimes my Samsung phone gets a bit glitchy, but here you can see, like, it's like snappy. And let me show you like a few pictures. I know, of course, like from me recording, you'll not get the idea, but you can see the quality. The display, by the way, has support for HDR, HDR10, HDR10 Plus, and HLG. There's no support for Dolby Vision. I could say like it's kind of expected at this price point, but I've seen like phones at this price have that. But again, even if it's included, you will not be able to use it, which I'll explain why. The display is kind of reflective. As you can see here, you can see the lights I'm using. But I have to say the colors are beautiful. And honestly, I cannot believe the quality of the display. It's not appearing the way I want it to. Like in reality, it is extremely beautiful. You can see the level of detail you can get. Like these pictures don't do justice. It's a very bright display. It has 1920 PWM dimming, which makes it great when you go under the sun. So it looks great indoors and outdoors. More than you expect. Like this, I would have to say, after the sound, this is the second best thing about this phone. The display is just gorgeous. It's literally like gorgeous. I don't know what else to say about it. It's simply stunning. Although like there is one thing I want to mention here is I noticed that the colors pop out more than usual. Like you could say that it's kind of like a bit oversaturated slightly. What I mean by this picture specifically here, you can see this Homer Simpson here, but you can notice, at least to me, maybe you're not seeing it, but his skin is not yellow. This is not what I would call yellow. It's just slightly orange. And I compared it to other phones. It's not something bad, honestly. Like it's just a slight effect. You get that. It makes the colors pop out. As you can see, the orange band, the colors just pop out more. And that's something that I just wanted to mention for you to keep in mind. It's just, the other thing I want to say about it is it's quite reflective even under the sun. You can still see the screen here. I think this effect here of this light, you can see the screen very well. It's just a bit reflective, like doesn't have an anti-reflective coating. Under the sun is much better than the lights. Keep in mind I'm using this under full brightness. So this is the second best thing about this phone, the AMOLED display. And I have to say, if you don't like the back, don't care about it actually at all, how it looks like, you can change that with the skin. But the most important part is what you're going to look at when you use the phone. Obviously, the front is where you'll be looking at. The screen is what you'll be looking at most of the time. That's it. I want to mention a moment about the 5G. This is a GSM phone, right? So you should kind of like expect, they also say 5G, you should kind of like expect 5G. And for people who live in the US and Canada, I have to tell you, like, it will work great with T-Mobile. And it has 5G support without mmWave. Like all these things, I'm speaking from experience. I inserted the SIM card and I tested the internet speed, Wi-Fi, and 5G. 5G speeds were actually the common speeds I get from any other phone. It's like over 200 megabytes download and over 100 megabytes upload, which is exactly the speeds I get with my other phones, depending on the area I'm in. For the Wi-Fi, it has dual band, 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. No support for Wi-Fi 6 gigahertz. And the internet speeds I got were pretty similar to the 5G speeds in my home. So it is kind of similar, and it's very, very snappy. Another thing is you get something, when you use 5G, you get something called VoNR, which is like voice over network new radio. This is like something like the VoLTE, but it's newer. So that's also kind of nice. Speaking of the phone quality, I will explore the software with you guys and we'll see every menu together. But speaking of the phone quality here, I used it and I recorded a phone call, which I'm going to show you after I edit this video quickly. And I would say the phone call quality is average. You will see the videos I have. I will upload them and edit the video, and you will see the mic quality when I'm recording video. According to the people I were talking to on the phone, they said the mic quality is good. I'm clear. They can hear me very well. No problem at all. And you will hear my voice. But I have to say, like, I think other phones could be better. Like, according to my wife, she said that when I used my other phone, she said that I sound more clear. I sound more clean, but my other phone is much more expensive than this phone. And yeah, that's it. Like, it sounds clean and clear, and the other parts, the other person could hear you, and I will upload and you can hear for yourself. I would say, yeah, it could be better, absolutely. But you get what you get. That's it. Like Moondrop says, it's not good, but it works. So that's exactly how I would describe it, all right? So speaking of the battery here is one of the third main features that make me like this phone. Like, this is one of the great advantages you get when you get a big display like this one. You can see when I don't have the light, the display pops up, right? Like, it's much more beautiful, right? So the battery life here, usually phone manufacturers do it in 3 ways. Is first of all, you get a big battery, right? That's one aspect, but there's also the aspect of good software optimization. And the third aspect is an efficient chip. You need an efficient chip to make the phone battery last long. Now, the battery here is actually bigger than most flagship phones you get, no matter how expensive they are. It's 5,000 milliamperes. So that is huge. That is huge. And it lasts a long time. For me, I calculated it and I used it with music, with high brightness, with location on, NFC on. And I can tell you that with music, with videos, like with watching TikTok or whatever, always, and I'm installing apps, removing apps, and like browsing and doing heavy work connected to the internet and to the 5G, I noticed that the rate of use of battery, it's using 10% battery per hour. And it didn't matter if you're listening to music, if you're installing apps, removing apps, like browsing, it's always using 10% per hour. Obviously, when you turn off the screen, battery life increases exponentially. And the battery life here is done like that because of many reasons. There are many, like I wouldn't say feature, but certain like functions in the phone. Like, for example, like double tap on and off. Like, these things are turned off, but you can turn them on in the settings, as I will show you in a second. Something like the dynamic refresh rate versus stable high refresh rate, like 120 hertz. These things, like, they're optimized from the factory to give you the longest battery life. Most apps are, if they're in the background, they immediately like take a moment and they're gone, except the chatting apps and so on. So you still get your notifications. There is a feature here for these apps where you can choose, and you can choose these apps never go to sleep. That way you can always get your WhatsApp notifications, Facebook notifications, like Telegram notifications, but keep in mind this will eat some of the battery. And it even warns you about that, and it tells you from certain functions, it tells you this function, if you turn it on, you're going to lose, or the battery will be drained faster. So I'm telling you, I didn't change any function here. I kept it from stock, and this is what happens. I was surprised that there is no wireless charging, especially at this price point. Like, this is something I think like kind of expected. Like even the Fio BTR7 has it, but I kind of understand why. Like there is the plastic back, and you don't have like metal or glass, and it's just going to add to the cost and be slow. So it's kind of understandable. And maybe it will affect the audio output circuitry. That's why they didn't include it. Who knows? What I do know is that charging, it comes with a feature like PD, power delivery, 33 watts. And this requires that you have a power delivery compliant charger, which not all of us have. For example, I tried to find one, I didn't. My chargers are actually higher, faster, but they don't support PD 33 watts. So the charging for me, when I used it with my PC, it was kind of slow. And maybe it's my experience because I didn't use a compatible charger, but I will give it to you straight honest. Like it took like over an hour to just like charge from 50% to 100%. There is a battery protection mode and battery saving mode and all of that. And I think with optimization, this easily lasts you a full day. Moondrop claims that 100 hours standby, and I agree. Like this phone enters into deep sleep almost immediately, except for the apps that we said we will not put into deep sleep. And if I leave it at 80% and I come back 4 hours later, it's still literally 80%. So that's something good from a usability standpoint. And also, like, even though there's no wireless charging, I don't think you have to worry about the wear and tear that will happen to something like the USB-C, as you will be using your audio, unlike the other phones where you use a dongle and you keep using your USB-C for audio and for charging. Here you only use it for charging. So I expect a lower level of wear and tear. USB-C, speaking of the USB-C, it has host device support and accessory support, which means that you can use any dongle. It's fully compliant, it's compatible. I tested it with many dongles, USB 1.1 and 2. It has no problems at all, and it works wonderfully. Like it's super fast the way it works. Like there is excellent support for that. Although, like, what's the point if you're going to use this, right? But I know some people will try and use it, so I just wanted to tell you that. If you want to connect this to a PC and you think you can use this as a DAC or a DAP, unfortunately you can't. Let me show you. Like what happens when you insert it into USB-C and you kind of click here, charging this device. These are the options you get. Unlike a DAP, DAPs usually have here audio in, USB charging, audio in without USB charging, and they have file transfer, right? Here you don't get that. You get the tethering and file transfer, MIDI and PTP for photo transfer. You can also charge connected devices if this is something you're interested in. Keep in mind that this USB is 3.0, which is awesome. It supports OTG fully. And when you connect it to your PC and you try to use it, the file transfer is super fast. As I was transferring DSD files and so on, it is super fast. It has like internally the desk, the 256 gigabytes, uses something called UFS 3.1, which is actually pretty fast. Like this is like something else which adds to the smoothness feeling which you get from this phone. So that's it. That's what I want to say about the USB part of it. Now let's move on to the chipset, because still it's important. I know if you're bored from this video, you can check the chapters, and I'm coming back and we'll explore here the phone again. The chipset here I want to say is a surprising factor, as it's the MediaTek Dimensity 7050. That's a surprise. Like of course it's not a Snapdragon in any way, although some people will claim that it is comparable to low-end Snapdragons, like the 665 or something like that. I compare them, but unfortunately it has to be like an equal comparison, so I cannot say that. I will say it's fast. The CPU here is 8 cores, 2 cores are running at 2.6, 6 other cores are running at 2.0. It's a 64-bit. It doesn't support 32-bit at all. It's a 6 nanometer, which is 2 generations behind most current phones. Most current phones, even like mid-tier phones, they're like at 4 nanometer. This one is at 6 nanometer. So that is just something on the surface. Like real life performance is something else. Now I know many people will ask, why didn't they add Qualcomm? Qualcomm is not easy to add from what I had been hearing about these chips. You have to like sign agreements, and you have to like I don't know if it's true or not. I'm telling you what I heard. You have to like add certain features, and there has to be licensing fees, and you have to like, they will not actually give it to you if you're not popular brand. Like, this is one of the reasons you find every DAP in the market with Snapdragon 665, right? This is the chip that they allow to DAP manufacturer companies to have, because like a company like Qualcomm cares about its reputation, right? The phone has to go through like rigorous testing, and it has standards, and it has to be compliant with many aspects. Like, this phone is just for audio and just light use and daily use and browsing and stuff like that. So you can imagine something like that will add considerably to the price, especially if they didn't have any other chip from the company before. So I think the decision is budget and at the same time performance. But I have to say there is a gap between this and other phones at the same price, especially if like from Xiaomi or like Vivo or Redmi or Realme, whatever these brands are that you guys use nowadays. Even Nothing phone, you get 12 gigabytes of RAM. That's something respectable. Another thing I want to talk about here is the benchmarks. So I've added the phone actually to a lot of benchmarks, and so like this is like done by yours truly. I was the first one to do that, but I want to say here, you can see here, this is the 3D Mark benchmark, and this is the results I have. You can see this is the Slingshot. It's 5,000 almost, and this is the Wildlife Extreme and the Wildlife. And if we compare them, actually it's very low. I have to say it is low from the benchmark perspective. It's not a real life kind of thing. Like, it's really low. Like the phone is like ranking in the 500s. That's how I will describe it. Something else like Geekbench. These are the scores I got. Single core 771. To make this comparable to you, something like the new Samsung S24 Ultra gets over 2,000 in this test. Multi-core, you get 2,100. Something like the Samsung gets like 6,700. And something comparable like the Nothing Phone 2A gets here in the single core over 1,000, and the multi-core gets like 2,600. Something like that. Here are the compute benchmarks. You get the Vulcan here, it's almost 3,000. Again, Nothing Phone here gets a little bit more, like 300 more. Whereas the Samsung for the Vulcan, it's like 17,000. So 17,000. You can understand the gap we're talking about here. And OpenCL also is 2,900. Nothing Phone 2A gets like 3,200, and the Samsung gets over 15,000, something like that. So like, these benchmarks are not like something that is real life, but it could give you an idea what we're dealing with here. My real use experience is that it's much better than any benchmark you could like think about, but except in the gaming aspect where like the frame rate takes a hit. Like, I have to say, like, for gaming, this phone is not for gaming. It's okay for simple games. But any just mid game you could play that has any slightly intensive graphics, frame rates drops a lot. Like, I'm talking like 10 frames per second and stuff like that. There is a function here which could help. I tried, but it helped slightly. Again, it's called the Game Booster, and this is what you get. The phone vibrates. And I think it's just to lower the notifications and stuff like that, but it doesn't give you a new level of performance or anything like that. That's just my opinion and my experience with it. I would say the performance is much better than you expect for anything other than gaming, which is a testament It's very respectful and a testament to the nature of what a simple, customized Android, how it works with the hardware. That's something that's very nice. Another thing is the people ask about the NFC, and as you can see here, the phone has NFC. Where is it? Yep, it has NFC. So, like, theoretically, you can use it depending on how you want to use it, but you can use it. And they say it's near the camera. I don't know where that is, but I just want you to know that. Let's go to the camera, as many people ask that and what you expect about that. I will be showing pictures I took with the camera. Let's see what you get here. This is what you get when you open the camera app. The camera app is pretty basic, I would say. You get your modes down below, and they're not a lot actually. They're just basic modes. We'll explore them. And you get here what is called HDR. You can press on it and you'll see the options. No HDR, HDR-A, which is auto, and HDR. There is something else here called AI. This, like, supposedly adjusts the brightness and contrast and all these like things when you are taking the picture. It's like, think of it as like a pro mode, but it is adjusted by an AI. So my personal experience, I don't think it made any difference, just a small amount of difference. That's my opinion. Before I forgot to tell you guys, this has dual cameras in the back with a very strong flashlight and a microphone. The main camera is a 64 megabytes camera. The wide angle one is 8 megabytes. And on the front you get 32. We'll speak about the quality. I'll show you everything. So the 0.6 here is the wide angle and the 2.1 is the zoom. I'm not sure if it's optical. They didn't mention. The modes that you have here, you get the video. All right. And I know people ask me like about the resolution and frame rate. It can record 720 and 180p at 60 frames per second. And you can't get more than that. That's the limit. You cannot get 120 or anything like that, which it's okay. I mean, this phone supports 120 display rate, but it doesn't have that. And you can see it's very nice. Then if you click here, you can see the resolution supported. You can get 4K, but if you click on 4K, the frame rate drops to 30 and it cannot support any more than that. So there's that. Also, a lot of adjustments are not available when you shoot in 4K, but it shoots in 4K no problem and it's easy. So that's one thing. Now, the modes that you have here are the photo mode, all right? And you get, this is the beauty face. You can adjust like functions for the face or automatic or something like that. And you get the portrait mode with double zoom. That's what you get. And you get a professional mode, which allows you to adjust the exposure, the ISO, the white balance, and the, I don't know, this is the sharpness maybe, and you get like the lens shape and you get the megapixel. You can control that from here. And then you get more. If you go to the left, you cannot even have it on the right, you can go to the left. You can see other functions here. There are other functions you can use. I tried dragging them and putting them here, but I can't. I can do that in the settings, but I can only do one. I can choose only one. I cannot put them all down here so I could more easily access them. That's not possible. So the other functions are face beauty, which like adds these like beauty effects to the face, makes your eyes look nice and stuff like that. You get slow motion video, which you can see here. It gives you 120 frames per second, but you cannot see the video in 120 frames per second. It will be slowed down. So that's something to keep in mind. And you get 64 megabytes camera, which when you click on it, this is the highest quality you could get from the camera, right? But unfortunately, it's kind of slow. Like if you see here, I will be clicking on it. There is a delay. See, there is a delay when it takes the picture. So if you want to take this and you're like happy with your family and just take the photo, you just have to wait. If you don't wait, it's kind of blurry. So, but if you stand still, the photo quality is kind of nice. But again, not impressive. You will see for yourself. QR scan, if you want to scan like QR codes, panoramic photo, and night photo, which makes night photos appear more brighter. not by much, but slightly brighter. But the downside of that is that if you even just slightly shake your phone, the image will be so blurry. Like it tells you, like, you take that and you just stand and it says keep your phone steady, and if I just move just slightly, it changes the blurriness. So it's not bad. It does its job, and it's better than the camera at night, and you get the time-lapse video. Where's the camera? Now, you could install Gcam. I tried it. It didn't work. So maybe you need to install Google services for it to work. That's up to you. As you can see here in these settings, you get sound, shutter sound, guidelines, brand mark, if you want to add the brand, time mark, customize the mark you want to add, anti-flicker, which gives you auto or 50 to 60 hertz. And you get the volume key function. You can change it from capture to zoom to increase the volume. And capture mode define is where you can add one of these features I was talking about before. But unfortunately, you can only add one feature. Like, for example, if we add panorama, all right? We added that. Let's say I want to add night because I want to take pictures at night. The night is added, but the panorama is down. So you can only add one more. That's the thing. You get an option for front mirror. For the back ratio, you get like 1:1, 4:3, 16:9, and full screen. I tried all of them, didn't increase or decrease the resolution or add any options even in the video. So they're just if you care about the aspect ratio. They come 4:3 from stock. Here you get the EIS, which is like an electronic image stabilization, so that it's called still mode or still video, or a still hand motion, something like still motion in other phones, which means if you take a video with this phone and you're using the video, it will be very stabilized, which you can turn it on. I don't think you need because it lowers, let's see if it lowers any resolution for the video. No, it doesn't. But it, from my experience when I used it, it changed the color. I felt the colors are not as nice as without it, so I took it off. A video sound is done, and that's it. That's pretty much it. There's no other functions here. You can choose here the flashlight, and here's the timer, and here are some filters. One of the best uses is if you want to take like a blue picture or a black and white picture, a sepia and stuff like that. So this is kind of nice. The app is basic, it's rudimentary. I will say when I took a lot of pictures, there's a bit of delay. Like if you take one picture, it's kind of okay, right? But if you take like, right? You get that lag that you can see. I'm pressing here. So you cannot get the fast speed if you use one. This could be a software issue. That could be like a CPU chipset issue. It's not an issue, honestly. If you want to take one picture, it's kind of, yeah, there is a bit of a lag. Maybe it's not like this lag is because of the AI or the HDR, or maybe because of the resolution. I'm not sure, but there you have it, right? So I will be showing you guys, I'll be adding pictures I took in the day, in the night, with wide camera, with normal camera. And my opinion about it is that it's fine. It's passable, right? It's not impressive. I would have loved to see more features. For example, specifically here, I wanted to see something like document scanning. I wanted to see image stabilization. There's no image stabilization except the electronic image stabilization in the video, right? I wanted to see a better night cam. I wanted to see double cam using the front and the back. I wanted to see an aperture mode, right? A macro mode, right? A better pro mode. All these features are not here, but it's kind of understandable. That's what I would say, like it's fine. The main camera, the 1x zoom, is fine. It's passable. At night, it's dark. You can use the dark mode and stay still. It's passable, but it feels like a few generations behind. And this camera right here, the 0.6 camera, is actually not nice at all. That's the part I will add here. It's not nice at all. I'm not saying that in a bad way, but I'm just telling you, like, the 8 megapixel and the quality, you will see for yourself. Like, I take the picture with the 1x and then the 0.6. The 0.6 looks washed out. It has a lot of distortion. There's a lot of chromatic aberrations that you can see with your eyes. And if you zoom, good luck. like good luck. Honestly, good luck. This is a picture, just an example that I took with a normal camera. It's decent. This was under excellent lighting using the 1X and using the 64 megabyte. Yeah, I click this and I waited, and you can see it's okay. When you zoom in more, you kind of see like it gets this fuzziness around it. The image is not as sharp as I want. Again, I will be showing you the pictures. If you guys are interested in the link to the pictures, let me know. I will post them and you can like zoom in and download the original files. That's something I want to show you. I took much more pictures, but it depends on the clarity of, is it day, is it night? Just let me show you a small example. This is a picture with the 1X zoom. And this is another picture with the wide angle. You can see the details are washed out. And again, you will see it better when I put it in the video. Again, like this is, for example, a normal picture that I took. All right. And this is a picture of the, at night, of the wide angle. And you can actually like see that a lot. Again, I will put it in the video and you will see with your own eyes the picture quality for yourself. The way I would describe it, I think Moondrop described it better than me or better than anyone could say. They say it best, man. Say it with me. Like, it's not good, it works. All right? It's not good, but it works. And that's the motto here. It's not good, but it works. All right? So that's something. The last thing I will say about the video is that you will get to see that with yourself. I will add to this video some of the videos I shot in the morning and at night, the quality under the sun, and without, and you guys get to see for yourself. I will say the video quality is decent. That's how I would say that. It is nice. Is it the best there is? Even at this price? No. I think other phones would be better at this price range. Think of the camera the way, I don't want you to be disappointed. Think of the camera as something extra. Like, think you're getting a DAP and just the manufacturer added a camera or two. That's it. I don't think that this is a phone I expect, no. Like, if you pay that price, I'm sure you will get from Xiaomi or Samsung or whatever. I'm sure you'll get much better cameras. Even nothing phone, I'm sure you will get much better camera quality and video quality. Speaking of the Bluetooth here, it's surprising to me, actually. There's no support for aptX. There's no support for aptX HD. There's no support for aptX low latency. There's no support for aptX adaptive. There's no support for LC3. There's no support for UAT. There's no support for Snapdragon sound, and so on. That is the not so good part about it. The good part is it has support for SBC, AAC, and LDAC. Now, this could be, I know many people will be disappointed and stuff like that, but honestly, they saved themselves with LDAC. Like, if they didn't have LDAC, I will be complaining. I'll be saying, oh, well, what is this, But fortunately, they saw that audiophiles will need to use the higher quality. They saw that they have a TWS that supports LDAC. So they kind of added that, which is a very smart move from Moondrop, and it makes me forgive all the other codecs, right? Like, if you don't include all the other codecs, but you give me the best one, the highest one, the one with the highest bandwidth, will I complain? No, I will not. Thank you, Moondrop, for the LDAC. Like, it saved the scene. Now, here comes the tiring and fun part. Like, this video is like going on now like for over 45 minutes, but we have to go. Now, if you want to skip and you reach this part, say hello. Let's explore this phone together. This is the screen you're gonna get. Something I want to add before I start is the thermals. I forgot to mention. This phone is never, and I mean never, even warm. It doesn't even get warm. And I mean that I tried it with like the benchmarks and the videos and the apps and the browsing and high brightness, location on, Wi-Fi on, 5G on, NFC on. It didn't get warm after like, honestly, 12 hours of use. It has the same exact temperature. Now that is something good. So let's look here at the Android version. The Android here provided is Android 13. Something which is very interesting, it's not a normal version, it is a custom version. You can see here when we go here, and you can see it's a custom build version. So if you click here on the build number a few times, it says it will unlock the developer options. And if I will explore it, I will get to the bootloader and the recovery and stuff like that. Let's look here at this part. Obviously, the screen is maxed out, and you can change many things in it. You can see here, this is the sound. There is a Bluetooth function. There is a flashlight function, which is extremely bright. It doesn't have an option to control the levels, but I will just put this and I will not look at it. It's really strong. Hello. So, a simple basic function. We will say that. There is a function here called background stream, which allows you, if you're using a video or if you're using some Spotify apps or something like that, it will allow them to play in the background. Remember when I said there are optimizations to make this phone the way it is, right? So there you have it. This is one of these functions. You get a battery saver, and again, I never use the battery saver. Everything I said here is without these functions. You get an alarm function, you get a dark theme. Dark theme makes everything black, except this one. It looks gray to you because I'm recording the video, but it's not, it's black. This is the gray part I'm talking about. This part right here, these are the gray things, but it's absolutely black. Like this upper part is the gray, all right? The glare is a thing on this one. You get the data saver, you get the scan QR code, you get the screencast, you get device controls for like smart home devices, you get your NFC, you get camera access on, mic access on, night light, which gets the phone to be like orange kind of tinge. For people who want to sleep and stuff like that, you get do not disturb. You get an extra dim. Remember, the phone has like 1920 hertz PWM dimming. You can use that at night if you're using dark mode. It saves the battery a lot. Also with the dark mode, there is a color inversion, there's a quick share, there's a color correction, and these are the only functions here I added them. You can see there's no more function to be added. Pretty basic Android, you would say, right? You get here, this is the basic icons, and this is how they look. It's pretty nice, I would say, right? It's pretty nice. The icon theme is not for me, but I'm sure many people will like it. This is the default launcher. It's called QuickStep. If you want to change it, you can, as I tried, install different launchers like the Nova launcher. And then you can install any icon theme that you like. And you can see here your regular Nova, right? So I have to say it's much better, but for the sake of this phone, for the sake of this review, I'm going to be using the stock launcher, which is called QuickStep. Now, some people will ask about the Google, right? I will say the Google situation here is, it comes with this. You open the phone, open the settings, go down to apps, and swipe down, and you'll see this function called Google Basic Services. It's turned off when you get the device. You turn it on, and the phone will update automatically the Google Play Store, which is right here, and it will allow the Google Play services on the phone to work. Now, I know what you're saying. Does it work? Does everything from Google work? No, not everything. Most apps work. You can install most apps, if not all of them. Obviously, I installed here APK Pure. And there is an app that comes from Moondrop. It's called Cool APK. It's in Chinese, actually, and I think it's more for Chinese apps. You can remove it, you know, if you don't want to use it. Some of the other apps that came installed are like this Weibo and this S1 and this app, QQ Music. And that's pretty much it. These are the only apps that came installed other than the logo ones. The ones that come with the logo, except the three I talked about, are the ones that came pre-installed. Except the three ones I talked about, the Weibo, the QQ Music, and what else? The Cool APK, all right? These are the 3 apps that didn't come installed, along with the everything that has the stock default icon is pre-installed. So you can see it's not a lot, which makes it very light, which makes it a basic kind of experience, which is nice. As you can see, I installed most of the apps I need and use, and I tested all of them. They perform great, but WhatsApp works great. If you want to know, WhatsApp works great. Receives the functions. You just put it not to sleep, it will work. What else here? Let me see what else I wanted to talk about. The Telegram works, no problem. Yeah, the functions that do not work, like for example, wallet. All right, you press on wallet, and you get this. Google Pay is unavailable. Check it. Even when you have an internet connection, it doesn't work. It kept going like that. And I think the only solution is to install something like MicroG or any of these GMS type of software. You go to recovery, I think, and you add it. I will show you how to do that in a second. And something else that I see didn't work is the Google Maps, right? Like, this is yours truly, all right? And it works. The Google Map works, but the location doesn't work, all right? I turned this on many times and off, on and off, to clear the data of the app. It doesn't work. So there you have it. That is something, that's why they recommended, actually, officially, they recommend if you want these functions, you can install them. They just give it to you with Google basic functionality, which means the Play Store works. You can log in, you can log into Gmail, you can log into everything you like, and everything will work fine, all right? Let's see here about the DRM. Yeah, unfortunately. Netflix works, guys. Netflix works, but not at HD. Not even 720, all right? It's like 590 or 570 or 520, something like that. It has Widevine L1. Let's see even together, all right? This is an app that's called DRM. DRM info. And you can see here, it's L3 actually, sorry. It's L3, not L1. I apologize for that. Something surprising, which makes also like most Netflix apps and stuff like that doesn't work, is the HDCP level. It's unprotected. It doesn't even have 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, nothing. There's zero. So this is something to keep in mind, but there is ClearKey CDM. It's 1.2 version. It's from Google. And that's it. I will say these are the algorithms of the compression and encryption. I will say that Spotify works, Tidal works, Qobuz works, Deezer works, Amazon Music, it depends, like maybe it's me, I'm not sure, but all these other apps work. Instagram works, Twitter works, except the apps I said they do not. Facebook works, Messenger works. All these things are spotless. In terms of the music app, it comes with this app here, which is called Music. Let me get it here. I think this is the basic stock like Android music app. It's not the best app. And if you click in the settings, you have where the setting. Yeah, you get here something called sound effects. And I don't think you will be using any of them. They change the sound and make it lower. So I think this is the best one. The other stock app that comes with it, believe it or not, is HiFi Music. All right. So HiFi is pre-installed and I recommend it. It's one of the best. Plays most of the formats. You can see here there's even Google. So no problem here. Let's take the apps and let's go to the settings quickly. You get your normal calculator, all right? You can have the options here. If you press up, you get the basic scientific exchange and history. You get your calendar, pretty basic Android. As you can see, I'm showing you this because I want you to see how snappy and fast the software is. Camera, you have seen that, and there you go. Clock, you can see that, there you go. Compass, works, pretty sensitive. Contacts, it is very, very basic. Device info, these are all the apps I installed. Facebook works. File Explorer is the basic Android version. You get an FM radio if you use the antenna, which is like the 3.5 any headphone. It works, tested. Gallery, which we can see here. Let's say I'm going to, let's say I'm going to edit this very basic photo. This is what you get on the right: delete, set picture as, and details and stuff like that. Let's say I will click on edit. These are the options you get for the edit. Some filters, all right, not a lot, but these are what you get. This function adds like a frame around the pictures, which I don't think is useful. Like, it adds some stuff like this, all right? I'm not sure who's going to use it, except the black one is kind of nice. Let me get back again and edit. So you get your crop, which you can do straight in your picture, rotate it, mirror it, draw on it. Pretty standard. And the last thing you get is something like adjusting autocolor, exposure, contrast, shadows, highlights, vibrance, curves, hue, black and white filter, negative, edges, and posterize. There you have it. These are the basic options. We talked about the game Explorer. We saw the maps. Messaging is pretty basic. Music, we talked about it. Notes, very basic note app. Phone, very basic phone app. SIM toolkit, sound recorder, which gives you the option to use high wave or low AMR. We'll show you a new listen torch, get you that stuff. VIA, which is like a browser that you can get, and the video app, which is pretty normal. You get your voice search from Google, and you get this app, and pretty done. YouTube works, TikTok works, Telegram works, Spotify works. So let's go to the settings and explore a bit. Here you get your normal functions that you can see anywhere. Connected devices is you can control Bluetooth, NFC, cost, printing, files, Chromebook, nearby file share. You can see here the apps. It shows you the apps you're using: Google Basic Services, default, and special apps. Notifications, these are the options you get, right? Sensitive notification, do not disturb, allow, blah, 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 all right? This is the battery you get. This is the battery percentage, battery protection mode, battery manager, battery saver, battery usage. This is the launcher, and you can see here about 10 hours left with my use. Storage, and this is the intelligent assistant with these functions. If you use something like the double-click wake up, it tells you that. All right, so that is an option. These are the options for the display, and this is the always on display options, and your edge lighting, you can add that, but it will tell you it will drain the battery faster. Lock screen, screen timeout, dark theme, night light, my tone, which allows you to have normal. Believe it or not, there's a vivid, but the colors are extremely oversaturated, which I don't recommend. Switch screen display area, just something like that. If you want to hide the top area, screen refresh rate, you get your options. And you want to display the animation, charging animation, and stuff like that. Wallpaper, accessibility, security, all these things are the ones you get from your exact phone. The foreground application priority is a bit of the customization they added. You can add this on, and any app you want to stay always in the foreground no matter what. If, for example, you want to get your notifications, you can do that. All right. System, and you get your system options here. And there's a function called optimize operating speed, which means if you click on it, it will give you a warning. This operation requires a long wait. You cannot cancel it after you started, so I'm not going to do that. It allows you, I'm not sure, it compresses the software or something like that. It will add a lot of optimizations that make the phone very fast and very snappy, compensating for some of the chipset abilities and so on. Now, when we go to the developer options, someone asked me, like, can the bootloader be unlocked? I will say if you click on OEM unlocking, you can unlock it. It will unlock. So it will restart and unlock. Recovery mode, you can access that. What you need to do is press here and on the low volume button. Keep pressing until the phone, like, it will give you this display about the power off, and then it will power off even without that. And then what you do is you hold the power button and the volume up button, You don't have to connect it to any charger, by the way. You just do that without. And then you will boot into the bootloader menu. It's in Chinese, and you just have to translate it from a phone and click up and down, and you can choose the recovery, and you can go to recovery. And I'm not recommending custom ROMs, but bootloader could be unlocked, and consequently, like, rooting, I think, could be done, and you can install a custom ROMs. I don't recommend it because it will mess up with what is included in the phone already. Like, you will suffer from the banking apps you use if you use any. Or anyway, I don't recommend it at all. Software is optimized like that. I'm just telling you the possibilities. Another thing you could do if you like, is you could go to the developer options, turn on USB debugging, go to your PC, connect by USB-C, turn on the USB debugging from the USB options from the drop-down screen, and then open like something, download like platform tools from Android. You can go and you can start ADB. No need for fast boot, and you can just like click like ADB devices, make sure the device is connected, and then ADB reboot recovery, ADB reboot fast boot. Again, if you don't know what this is, never touch it. Honestly, never touch it. I will not even do that. I just checked the recovery menu and I went there. Obviously, the options are in Chinese and stuff, but I'm showing you because you guys asked me about the custom ROM and stuff like that. It's been a long night and day for me. I'm extremely tired. Video's over an hour, and I just wanted to touch it. I will include chapters so you can skip and see the part you like. Let me know what you think. Give me a like, give me a thumbs up, give me a comment. Tomorrow I'll be posting the audio comparison, the comparison with DAPs, dongles, phones, and desktop amps and DACs, and even talking about the sound quality, headphones, and IEMs, and answering every other question that I didn't answer here, and I'll answer it again. The last point which I wanted to mention is the updates, but again, I will talk about that tomorrow. That's enough for today. Yeah, apologize for the long video, but you can skip to any part you like. Until then, guys, see you tomorrow. Peace. I'm out. Bye.